I'm going to show you 3 ravioli bakes that are so easy to put together. Making a pasta bake has never been so easy and so delicious. Let me show you how I make all 3 of these using frozen ravioli. Here we go. So today I'm going to show you that 3-ingredient pasta that I love to make now with frozen ravioli. Okay, so typically the 3 ingredients are the cheese, frozen ravioli. I'm using a 20-ounce bag, 24-ounce bag I think is the original recipe, and pasta sauce, a 24-ounce jar of pasta sauce. I created a meat sauce. What I did was just took a pound of lean ground beef and I seasoned it with seasoning salts, minced onion, garlic powder. I even used some Italian seasoning and just cooked the ground beef. Then I added my 24-ounce jar of pasta sauce. Use the one you like from the store, or if you have homemade one, that works. And this gives me my 1, 2, 3 ingredients. But definitely the meat sauce can just be the jar of pasta sauce. That actually is the original recipe that's going around. I'm going to be putting everything in a 12 by 8 or an 8 by 12 baking dish. You could get away doing this in a 9 by 13, but this is what I'm working with today. Okay, so going with my baking dish. You'll want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I did a, got that weird. Okay, so all my frozen ravioli going in. You can stack them neatly. I sort of do this. I just kind of toss them in and, oh, well, that's not coming apart. No, okay, that's staying together. So I'm gonna go with just a handful of my cheese. I'm using 10 ounces of mozzarella cheese. If you want it cheesier, you definitely can do that. Now I'm gonna go in with all of my meat sauce on top. Just spread that out. And in the original recipe that I saw going around, you can bake covered and then uncover it. I just leave it uncovered the entire time. So I want to make sure all the ravioli kind of has meat sauce on it. Now go in with the rest of the cheese on top. Okay, so my oven is at temperature. Remember, it's going into a preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake this uncovered, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 35 to 40 minutes or until everything is golden brown and bubbly on top and cooked through. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. So I'm going to take this out. It's done. Here. Okay. So I did it for about 40 minutes, maybe 35 at 400 degrees, but I actually like the cheese crust. And this is pretty much ready to serve. Okay, so I'm gonna serve some. And I really didn't stack the ravioli neatly. You can totally do that. So I'm gonna carefully kind of find a piece here. And like I said, 10 minutes of set time will work just to keep it together, but I really want to show you how easy this is and get it closer. Ah, so good. There we go. I feel cheated of 1 ravioli here, so let's get that. And it doesn't look like much, but it's such an easy pasta bake, especially during the work week. Some garlic bread, a salad on the side, and you've got an easy dinner. So good. So in the meantime, let me show you other pasta bakes that I think you'll find helpful, and they are so delicious. Here we go. I'm going to do my own version of that viral sheet pan lasagna recipe that's been going around since last year. I am going rogue and utilizing what I have. I put things together. It's pretty close. I'm using that recipe as a guide, but I'll show you what I'm making for dinner today. And instead of the lasagna pasta, I'm going with cheese-filled ravioli because that's what I have. So here we go. In a preheated pan, I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of cooking oil. This is actually olive oil, half of a small onion that I diced, and I'm going to saute well. So for the meat sauce, I'm actually using ratios that will yield extra than what the recipe actually calls for. Here I'm going to add just a pinch of salt to help the onions saute better and brown. So back to the sauce. The original recipe calls for a pound of Italian sausage and then 4 cups of marinara sauce with onion in the mix. You season how you like, and that's the ratio for this recipe. I'm going to be working with 2 pounds of meat. Right now I'm going to break apart the sweet Italian sausage, cook it, and now I'm going to add 1 pound of lean ground beef. So this is 2 pounds of meat going into what I'm making today. Like I said, at the end of this video, I'm probably going to have leftover meat sauce that I'll use later. I'm adding a teaspoon of salt. Here I'm adding a couple of shakes of crushed red pepper flakes, cracked black pepper. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm eyeballing things, and now I'm just going to break apart the meat and cook well. Now that everything is browned and sauteed and cooked through, I'm going to add a 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes that I had in my pantry. I'm going to add that and give this a mix. Now I'm going to add a 32-ounce jar of marinara sauce. Again, the original recipe calls for a pound of ground meat, whether it's Italian sausage or ground beef, and 4 cups of marinara sauce, which is 32 ounces of marinara sauce. So I'm going to give this a mix. At this point, you'll want to give it a taste and adjust the salt and seasoning to your preference. For example, I am going to add like a teaspoon and a half of sugar. Some people don't find that necessary. It really is up to you. I'm going to give this a mix. I'm going to cover this with a lid, lower the heat, and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then I'm going to shut off the heat and just let this hang out until I'm ready to use it. I'm going to work on the ricotta spinach mixture. Here I had a 5-ounce container of baby spinach leaves. You could use somewhere between 5 to 6 ounces. Into a preheated pan, I'm adding some olive oil, and I'm going to just saute and wilt down all of this fresh baby spinach. So I'd like to mention, this is an easy recipe if you want to cook something easy but delicious for the weekend or for a special occasion. Give this recipe a try. So good. Okay, so I'm shutting off the heat. The spinach has sauteed and wilted down. So I am going to place this in a bowl, and I'm going to chop it with my kitchen shears to make it into smaller pieces, because I'm going to mix this into about 15 to 16 ounces of ricotta cheese. I actually have a 30-ounce container, so I'm just going to go for 16 ounces of ricotta cheese, or half of it would be 15 ounces. So once I have all of my ricotta cheese in the bowl with the spinach, I'm just going to give it a mix, and I'm going to set that aside until I'm ready to put this sheet pan lasagna, which is actually ravioli pasta bake. There. So like I stated earlier, instead of using a pound of lasagna pasta, I'm going with 20 ounces of cheese ravioli. So into a large bowl, I'm going to add that package of ravioli. This is fresh, not frozen. And now I'm going to add probably half of what I made. But remember, just follow the ratios from the original recipe, which is a pound of meat, seasonings, and 4 cups of marinara sauce. So I haven't mentioned this in a while, but my Facebook page is still hacked, and hackers have even created another Simply Mama Cooks Facebook page. I am no longer posting on Facebook, so do not follow those pages. Okay, so this looks like enough. I have some left. Now I'm going to add some shredded low moisture mozzarella cheese, around 1.5 cups, into this bowl. And I'm going to give everything a good mix. And with the rest of that cheese, that's what I'm going to top the sheet pan pasta bake with. Here I'm going to add some cooking oil, or this is actually olive oil, to a 12 by 17 baking sheet or baking pan. And I'm going to pour in all of that pasta, meat sauce, cheese mixture. And what you'll want to do, and if you are using the pound of lasagna pasta that you'll pre-boil, you just do the same thing. Mix it just like I did with the meat sauce and the cheese and the ravioli. And I'm going to spread this out into a single thin layer onto the baking sheet. This is what's going to help to give you those crispy edges and top. So now I'm going to dollop in little mounds throughout the baking sheet pasta here of this ricotta spinach mixture. Okay, so with the rest of the cheese, it's like another cup of cheese. I'm going to just add it to all the exposed areas around the ricotta spinach mixture. In all, for this recipe, I'm going to use around 12 ounces of low moisture mozzarella cheese that's shredded. You can shred it yourself. I just opted for bagged cheese. I know. So this is done. I'm baking this in a preheated oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it's done. It's so cheesy, melty, crispy, golden brown crust on top. Goodness. So you'll want to remove it from the oven and just let it cool and set. The original recipe says for about 5 minutes. I'd probably go for about maybe 10. And just look at this. It really is perfect. This is such a cool recipe. You should give it a try. Okay, so I'm going to serve up a slice. And once you let it set and you cut into it, like I said, if you're using the original recipe, which calls for a pound of lasagna sheets that are kind of broken and cooked, then, you know, it's easier to cut into square pieces. Honestly, even with a ravioli, it's easy to cut. But look at this. It smells amazing. I already know it's going to taste good. These flavor combinations with the sausage, the beef, the ricotta, the spinach, so good. Okay, Pizza Ravioli Bake. That's what I'm making today for lunch. My son requested this. I'm working with 24-ounce bag of frozen cheese ravioli. You could use the beefy kind if you want. This is just what I had in my freezer. I'm going to go with 8 ounces of mozzarella cheese. Here I have some pepperoni, store-bought marinara sauce. Easy, and it's going to be good. Here I'm working with an 8 by 12 baking dish. I'm going to add my ravioli. I'm going to sprinkle on just a handful of cheese. Go in with some pepperoni. You know, you can kind of like cut this in half. Ground beef, if you have some cooked ground beef, that also works. Pour over the entire jar of marinara sauce. A little bit of water. Give it a good shake. I don't even think I added 1/4 cup of water, but just pour that over. Now the rest of the cheese, all on top. You want to make sure your oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm baking this uncovered until everything is golden brown and bubbly. Okay, going into my oven. Okay, so I baked this uncovered at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 35 minutes. So it's ready. Okay, there it is. Ravioli Bake Pizza, Pizza Ravioli Bake, Ravioli Pizza Bake, I don't know. But that was really easy to put together. And you know, this is lunch. I'm going to garnish with a little bit of parsley. You can garnish how you like, a little bit of Parmesan, it all works, and it's so good. And the best part, it's so easy to make. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe. By the way, check out my main channel, Simply Mama Cooks, for long form videos and for other dinner or meal ideas. See you in the next video. Bye.